Hello and welcome to the Level 20 Unlocked podcast. In this podcast, we talk all things from mental health, self-development, money, relationships, fitness, and just life in general. If you're a teenager who is also in the process of turning into an adult, I know, so scary, but this podcast is also for you. I'm your host, Janelle Marquez, and this is our very first episode. So in this episode, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and what's going on in my life so you can get to know me better.
So then just sit your drunk ass on that fucking runway home. I can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, can't be your
I'm 19 years old and I was born and raised in Miami. I do turn 20 in less than 2 months and it's quite scary actually. I'm not excited to not have a age that ends in the word teen. But anyways, I am in community college and I am currently studying abroad in Seville, Spain. Amazing experience. That is a whole other episode. I could talk about that. But yeah, I started this podcast because I love talking about self-development stuff, talking about my life in general, topics that are not necessarily talked about on a regular basis. And I just created this platform to be able to express myself and let it out, because I don't talk about it much with people, so I can let it out here safely in this safe space, and whoever is listening are people who resonate with what I'm saying or people who are just interested in what I'm saying, and that's a lot better than having to stay silent. So that's why I'm starting this podcast. So some hobbies that I've cultivated in the past couple of years are going to the gym. I go to the gym quite often. I haven't been doing it as much lately because I've been in a rut, just like the title of this podcast. But yeah, I do art. I love painting on canvases. Nothing crazy, just something I do for fun. I love journaling, all types of journaling. Bullet journaling, self-reflection, scripting, manifesting, gratitude, anything like that goes in my journal. And I absolutely adore journaling, everything that has to do with it. I also make music, which is kind of interesting. This is something that I've actually done throughout my life since I was very young. The first song I ever wrote went like this. Let's go downtown to the party on the ground. Let's turn that frown upside down. That was my first song ever. You heard it here first. But anyways, I've been writing music for a very, very long time. I never took classes for writing or practice like how I do now, but now I actually make music, and I just made my first song on my own without an engineer or anything like that. Besides that song I just made, I've only made one other one, actually two, in a music studio, but the actual production of the song is something new. Writing songs is something old. Random facts about me. I play the piano. I have a really loud car, and by really loud car I mean I have subwoofers in my trunk and 2 concert series speakers in the front, and I'm obsessed with my car. I love organizing and cleaning when I'm bored. I'm really good at technology things. I have certifications in Adobe applications. Super random, but I went to school specialized in that. Another thing I really enjoy doing is acting, which I haven't done in a while actually, but I used to go to classes for it all the time. I did musical theater for many years, but then I did script/film acting the past 2 years. 1 year was in class, the other year was just on and off on my own practicing, and I like that so much better than musical theater. Now I don't really do acting much anymore just because I don't necessarily have time for it, but I have been doing YouTube and vlogging and stuff like that, and I'm still trying to find the type of video style I like. We'll see when that happens. I love Harley Quinn. I want to be her. I am her. I embody her. She's my alter ego. I've loved her since I was 6 years old because of the Arkham Knight games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham, all of them. If you know those Arkham games, that is what introduced me to Harley Quinn, and I have never been able to let go of this obsession I have for her ever since that first game. So now let's talk a little bit about how I feel today. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would say I feel like a 3. I feel pretty motivated and I feel like being productive, but my energy is low. so I'm not necessarily a 4 or a 5, but I'm okay. It's just a regular day, neutral. My current obsessions, which by the way, I am stealing this current obsessions idea from the Busy Yet Pretty podcast. I love that podcast. Go listen to it if you haven't. But anyways, my current obsessions are this microphone that I am using. I just bought it and I love it. I've made songs on it already. That is my other current obsession, making songs. I spent every day last week making a little piece of my song or just redoing my song, and it was just so much fun. I also am currently obsessed with bike riding and making sandwiches. They're two completely opposite things, but I am just as equally obsessed with both of them. Today I made 2 sandwiches. It was a caprese sandwich, or a caprese, I don't know how to properly pronounce it. And then my other one was turkey, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, little papitas, like little fries, honey mustard. The cheese, by the way, was fresh mozzarella and very melted, and it was delicious. I could rant about those sandwiches all day. But moving on, the bike rides. I went on a bike ride last Sunday and I ended up in some abandoned, destroyed building, and I had no idea how I got there, no idea where I was, and my phone died halfway through, so I had no idea how to get back, but figured it out, and now I'm obsessed and I need to do it again. Now let's jump straight into the podcast, which is how to get yourself out of a rut. Before I even start with this podcast, I just want to say, a rut is a temporary state where you can actually work on improving yourself. This is not dysthymia or depressive disorder. Those are 2 completely different things. And if you do feel like you might have depression or anything like that, you should seek professional help. I know from experience it does definitely help, so don't be afraid to reach out, and if you need some motivation, to go seek help. Number 1, to get out of a rut, there's multiple things we're going to talk about today, but I would just like to say the first thing you need to do is just accept that you're in a rut. Accept the fact that this is how you feel. You cannot change it in 1 second. You cannot just change how your whole body and state is in just in 1 second. So accept the fact that this is how you feel right now so that you can next work on it. Number 2, identify why it is that you could be feeling this way. Is there something going on at home that could make you feel down, or like this is happening because of that reason? Maybe something in a relationship, maybe dead end at work, maybe you're just unmotivated. Whatever it is, just identify why it is that you're feeling those ways and try to pick out what it is that is happening in your life that could be making you feel these ways. Next, clarify your goals. When you actually write down your goals, if you actually write it on a piece of paper or do something that you can visually see your goals in front of you, that would help a lot more than just thinking of them. But if you actually look at your goals, it makes you just a tiny bit more motivated subconsciously or in the back of your mind or whatever, that you need to get back on your grind. If you're waiting for a day that you just wake up and feel better and motivated to do anything, that can happen. Rarely happens to me, does not happen often, but this does happen, or it is more likely to happen faster if you are visually looking at your goals. Every time I find myself looking at my vision board that I have glued onto my wall, I tend to feel that motivation start to spark in me a lot faster than the days that I don't look at that vision board. Next is to remember that you need to take things little by little. Start small. You are still in this rut. You can't just force yourself to automatically have so much determination to get something done. You will not have that, but that's why discipline is important. And we'll not get into that right now, but start small. Even the smallest things that you do to get better every single day help in the long run. So keep on doing those small little things like brush your teeth, take a shower, make your bed. Stuff like that can help so much more in the long run than if you were to not do those things. Next is to remember to start small. When you're first getting out of a rut, you cannot just force yourself to automatically have all this determination and get all these things done that you might have been able to do if you were not in a rut. But once you accept that you're in a rut, you need to realize you are starting small. to get back into your daily habits, daily routines, stuff like that. When you're in a rut, most of the time that's because you feel like every day is the same, you need a change, something like that. That's at least what happens to me. Every rut is a little bit different for me, but most of the time it's because my days feel very repetitive. So if I just start small with those same repetitions every day, like making my bed, brushing my hair, brushing my teeth, doing my skincare, stuff like that, those are just small examples of little things you can do every day that will actually help you feel more motivated in the long run and can help you get out of this rut faster, all thanks to that one singular strand of hair that you brushed. Like, you have no idea how much one small thing can actually impact your whole entire day. Next is to remember having brain breaks. I like to let myself daydream or let my mind wander. I will stare at a wall for 20 minutes and just daydream and use my imagination, make all of these crazy little movie scenes in my head, and then I'll come back to what I'm doing. And I will feel so much better if I let myself do that than if I don't. Because if I don't, I will feel worse, and it will probably last a lot longer than 20 minutes, and it will be interrupting whatever I am supposed to be doing. So that's why I let myself stare at a wall for 20 minutes. But anyways, aside from that, I like to take walks if I need to just stop overthinking or get a breath of fresh air. Or I will go to a park and sit on grass, touch grass, just be around nature on those days that I need to feel grounded or connected. Because a lot of the time for me when I'm in a rut, I feel very disassociated and disconnected from the whole entire universe. I feel like I'm not here, if that makes sense. Being in a rut, one of my least favorite things about it is that I just feel like everything is too much every day. I don't want to do anything. I want to lay in bed all day. In my life, that is not perfectly fine if I do that for more than 3 days in a week. I don't do that more than once or twice a week if I'm in a rut, because I do need my body to rest and recuperate when I'm feeling like that so that I could bounce back and be better. But my resting and recuperating is exactly that. It is just resting. I am not going to stay like that for a very long time, and I know the difference between when my body actually needs the rest and when my body doesn't, and it's just lazy, and I do not want to be lazy. We're going to go over some things quickly of what you could do that could help you get out of this rut that you might not have thought of before, or maybe you have heard of it before, but they actually do help. First things first, a morning routine. That is the very first thing you should be working on when you're in a rut. If you don't already have a morning routine and you're not in a rut, then I suggest you make one, especially if you're not in one, so that you can get your body used to a sort of routine that you need. Having a consistent and healthy morning routine is key to literally everyday life, because if you have a bad morning routine, you'll have a bad day. You have a good morning routine, you'll have a good day. Productive morning routine, productive day. You see where I'm going with this? Every morning you should be doing something that not only wakes you up, obviously, but that gives you some sort of motivation to continue on going with your day. And if you feel like you don't do this and that you should, maybe you do and you don't even realize. For me, I like to have different options of what I can do in the morning. I do not like to do the same thing every single day, so I will not. But some days I will journal, some days I'll do yoga, some days I will meditate, some days I'll sleep in, some days I'll stretch. Like, every day is different. So make sure you have a good set morning routine that can help you not only wake up in the morning and stay productive throughout your day, but that can also motivate you to get you out of a rut whenever needed. Because my morning routines used to be way too long and complicated, so whenever I was in a rut, I not only would not do any of it, but it would take me so long to get back into that morning routine. So now I have condensed mine so much, and I found something that works a lot better for me, at least for the time period that I'm in now, which is important. Now is what's important, not tomorrow, not yesterday. Remember that. Number 2, purposely use your phone. That's going to be super controversial, but I love my phone. A lot of us love our phone. A lot of us hate our phone, and a lot of us feel like phones are addictive. Yes, they are very addictive, and yes, I do not think they are a good idea to be the first thing you look at in the morning or the first thing you look at night. But that is not the case for every day, at least for me. That is not realistic for me either. I don't have an alarm clock, especially here in this dorm room. I don't have an alarm clock, and I can't afford to buy one right now. So I'm using my phone. When I turn off my alarm, I'm gonna look at my phone screen. So instead of using your phone in a way that will not benefit you, use it in a way that would. Use it to motivate yourself to get things done, or use it as inspiration for your day, or inspiration for anything you need to get done. But yeah, for example, what I do before I go to the gym, which I used to go very, very often. Now it's once or twice a week, unfortunately. Getting back to it. I was just in a rut working on it. Anyways, I like watching gym videos before I go to the gym. It helps so much. I'll watch like 5 videos or be on TikTok for 20 minutes just watching a bunch of different workout routines or exercise videos in general. And it will motivate me so much to actually go to the gym, work out, and not only have a good workout but a hard one. Like most of the time, the days that I push myself harder are the days that I watched more TikToks before I got there. Use your phone as a way to motivate yourself. Don't be stupid. Don't go on your phone for hours and start watching sad videos when you feel sad. Instead, either don't go on your phone at all, or if you are, which I do go on my phone a lot of the time, use it purposely. Do not go watch things that you know are not going to benefit you. Just wanted to add in here really quick, if you're listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube, then that's already a first step. You're starting small on trying to motivate yourself to get better and get out of this rut. I'm proud of you. Next up, try not to talk to people when you're in a rut. It's such a bad idea. At least for me, I never have a good conversation when I am in a low mood. So I'd much rather not talk to anyone when I feel like that. People can be very draining, and if someone's energy is negative or bringing you down, that's going to make your rut last longer, and it will not help at all. At all. Being more impulsive is also something else that can help people get out of a rut. If you just randomly say yes to more things, like if somebody asks you on a date and you say yes even when you don't feel like it, this will force you to get ready, make yourself look good, go out of the house, do something. This date was the first thing I thought of because that's the easiest example to give, but it does not have to be a date. It can be a solo date. It does not have to be with someone. It could be volunteering. It could be exploring. It doesn't have to be a date. But that's just so that I can give an example of what I mean by this, because I do not mean to be more impulsive and like go jump in front of a car. Like, don't do something like that. Do impulsive things if you see some sort of benefit at the end of it. And you really have to be open-minded for this, because if you have a fixed mindset, you're not going to be able to see things in that perspective. Find something that feels good or makes you smile. For example, I love giving examples, but one of my favorite things to do that is so easy to do and is such a staple in my trying to get out of a rut routine is to watch movies or TV shows and eat. That is the simplest thing ever, and that is not the healthiest thing, but that does help me personally get into a more productive mood. Not necessarily productive, but more awake, more like I'm alive, because movies make me feel certain emotions, and I would much rather feel all these different types of emotions from a movie than from things happening in real life. Also, whenever I watch Netflix for a very long time, I just also want to say that you need to be careful with this. If you are choosing to do this too, go ahead and do it. I love eating and watching something. It is so therapeutic for me. I will give you some suggestions. Watch Gossip Girl, watch The Sidemen on YouTube, or any TV show that's like funny or something like that. That smile and good serotonin that comes from this good feeling will help you get out of that rut. So just find something random like that that will help you feel good and smile and change that emotion. Don't let yourself dwell too deep in your own emotions that are not good emotions, because yes, I totally agree that sometimes you need to let yourself feel the negative emotions per se, just so that you can actually feel them and actually get through them. But if you dwell in these emotions too long, you're gonna end up never feeling better. So next, embody a particular identity. Pretend to be someone else for a day. Maybe that will help you get out of a rut. If you can, are you good at acting? Do it. Act like somebody else for a day. If you can embody someone else in a different way, that can also help you get out of a rut. Like I said earlier, I'm obsessed with Harley Quinn. If I have a day where I'm laying down in bed and I am having that moment where I'm staring at the wall for 20 minutes, I just did that, then I am staring at the roof and I don't know what to do now. Maybe if I tell myself, what would Harley Quinn do right now? She would probably get up and start doing cartwheels. No, that is not true. I'm not gonna get into Harley Quinn stuff right now, but let's say that was the case. I would not do that, but I would maybe get up out of bed at least. Find little things in someone that you like or follow or whatever and try to copy them. Another thing you can do is embodying somebody else doesn't need to necessarily mean a literal actual other person. Embodying a particular identity could be this higher version of yourself. That is the one that I will find myself doing more of the time, because I can't think of things off the top of my head about someone else, like Harley Quinn for example, even though I can do that about her. Envisioning a higher version of yourself and seeing what would they do, or how would she talk, or how would she act, what would she do right now to try to get herself out of this. Ask yourself things like that. That will also help you not only visualize your higher self, but it'll help you get there faster. Gratitude, meditation, and breath work are also 3 things that I am not going to go too deep into right now, but that helps you relieve anxiety and go on with your day without overthinking or without all the stress. Any of them, even yoga, like stuff like that can help you tremendously. Personally, I'll do at least 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning, 10 things at night, maybe 5, depending on the mood. Maybe I won't do both of them, but somewhere along my day, there has to be a point where I am at least saying gratitude out loud, because that will bring stuff into my life that is so much better. If you continuously do this every day, not only when you're in a rut, this is something for daily practice, but saying gratitude every day will attract the things that you're not only grateful for, but more. It will attract things related to those things you're grateful for, or it will just attract good positive energy in general, because you're so grateful for life, so life wants to award you with better life, you know? Meditation, it's not for everyone, and I still don't know if that is for me or not, but I have done 10 minutes in the morning every day this week. Haven't really noticed a difference. I have noticed that it's hard for me to do it, and yeah, but I'm still trying. So try meditation, see if it works for you. It does relieve anxiety, so that could help. Breath work does the same thing. They go hand in hand. Anything like this, manifestations, affirmations, scripting, again, things that they're off the top of my head because I do them myself, but those help so much get you out of a rut, because it's such like a ethereal feeling. At least for me, when I'm journaling and writing all these things, I feel like a different person is writing these things, and it helps so much. And finally, for the last point of how to get out of a rut, live your life like a movie. Romanticize everything. Romanticize every single small thing that you do, and your life will feel so much better. If you make it feel like life is a movie every single day, you're gonna have so much more fun than just living a normal day-to-day repetitive life. Because in a movie, the same things don't happen every day. And if you romanticize every single thing you do, no matter how hard it could be to romanticize that one thing, you will feel so much better in general, because you'll feel like your life is worth living. The things that I like doing to help me romanticize my life are playing music on a speaker while I'm showering or cleaning or doing anything. Like small tasks like that you can make a little bit better with music, with a podcast on. I will do that in the morning. I'll go on a morning walk and put a podcast in my ears just so that I can be educating myself in some way while getting some cardio in. Romanticizing your life could be so much fun, and it also could be kind of hard if you don't have a very good imagination. Learn how to be creative. There's videos on YouTube for that probably. And just learn how to romanticize everything. And just learn how to romanticize everything. Have fun in life. Enjoy it. It's not going to be here forever. So think of that when you decide to stay in bed all day instead of get up at least halfway through the day, at least the last 10 minutes of your day. Take your small steps to get better, but end up getting better, because a life that is worth romanticizing is not a life living in bed. Those were all the little points I had for today. I hope you took some of this information into account, learned something new, maybe took something that you're going to try. If you need a little bit extra help, here are some questions that can help you think or identify why you're feeling this way. But it's only 3 questions. What parts of life bring you joy? Are you doing things because you want to or because you think that you should? And are you only sticking to your same job or partner or project just because you don't want to waste the time and effort you invested already? Really think about all these questions and see how you answer them, because that will help you evaluate whether or not you're in a rut in the first place. Is it deeper than a rut or not? And it will help you better understand the way your mind works. Learning the way your mind works is something that is so important and something that I love doing, which I have been continuously working on every single day. I will never 100% know myself, neither will you, neither will my mom, neither will anyone. I will get so much closer to learning such a vast majority of myself if I do little by little every day. So make sure you help yourself get out of these ruts, because you cannot get out of them without yourself. I hope this helps you get out of your rut, feel better, don't let this ruin your day, and I hope this podcast helped you feel a little bit better in some way. I'm gonna stop here because if not, I will never stop ranting. But make sure to follow all my socials. I have SpaceKid@7788 on TikTok, Janelle Marquez with 2 Z's on Instagram, Janelle Marquez on YouTube, and the Level 20 Unlocked Instagram and podcast. Make sure you leave some reviews and comments anywhere you can. Stay tuned for the next one, and stay tuned for everything else coming out on all my other platforms. I love you guys. Have a great day. Mwah.